Hand loaders, bullet casters, welcome back to my bench. Hey, this video is going to be a VR to GH Hunter. He brought up a really good point in my last video about sizing dies, and what he proposed was that I should have used one set of brass basically through one die and another set through another die to get what would look like a more accurate reading, because it appeared to him, and I can see why, that if you run the same brass through the die 2 times, that could maybe give you a false result. I didn't really give that much thought, but I can see where that might be an issue. So, hey, I want to fix it or go ahead and do it the way he brought up. Additionally, I kind of feel like, that got me thinking, and I was thinking to myself, the larger the sample size, the better. So we're going to go ahead, and I've selected 10 pieces of brass. I also made sure they were all the same head stamp, just to keep things consistent, and I tumbled them a little bit earlier this morning. So let's see what we get. And I guess it doesn't matter which die we start with. Maybe I'll just go ahead with the lead die. Yeah, we try to keep organized here. So we'll do 5 with the lead and then 5 with the RCBS. Okay, so that's 5 with the lead. Now we'll switch up dies. It was nice to see that every single primer was caught. Okay, so we just completed 5 lead, now 5 RCBS. So let's go ahead and get some measurements. Hopefully this can be seen fairly easy. Come on, focus, there we are. So for some of you guys that are not really into the dial calipers, this is a little bit different, but this is a pretty even 45 thousandths of an inch. And again, that's the lead die. Same spot, pretty clean 45. Again, let's see here. Yeah, pretty clean 45 too, or 45 also. All right, and another. One more. They're all like a carbon copy of the other. So I think we can all agree that that was a pretty good sample through the lead die. That it'll pretty much give a diameter, outside diameter of 45 thousandths of an inch. So again, this is 44 special we're working with. Now let's see what the cowboy die did. The RCBS. And measuring the same spot. Okay, so that is a marked difference right there. We'll call that 2 thousandths of an inch. So that's actually, that is not 45 thousandths of an inch. That is 40.448. Okay, let's see what this next one is. And again, basically a 0.448. Kind of cool to see the consistency, at least, 0.448. Yeah, so these are 2 totally separate pieces. They're all Winchester. They all got tumbled together in the walnut media this morning, too. This one actually looks like it somehow got a little smaller. Huh. Then I twist it a little bit and yeah, either way, it kind of likes to be right there about that 2 thousandths less. Of course, that's not a fault of the die. It could just be that brass is wore out. Okay. And that one there also. So I feel like we got a pretty good sample size. So a question might be, why do you care about that 2 thousandths of an inch? Well, let's talk about that for just a moment. So one of the great things about hand loading and bullet casting is options. So what I have right here on the left is a Charter Arms Bulldog target model in 44 special. What I have here on the right is a Ruger GP100 in 44 special. Ruger is notorious for making large throats in their 44s, not to mention just the entire chamber is a good bit oversized, which is probably not a bad thing, but it can be a bit of a headache for bullet casters and hand loaders sometimes. Now, the Charter Arm Bulldog, they try to stick a little bit more to the normal spec. So, for example, I have this Hornady swaged bullet, 240 grain lead semi-wad cutter, and this is pretty much normal commercial round, and it gives us a pretty clean 430 thousandths of an inch. Let's get back on there. Yeah, that's right. So that's all well and good, but it's not quite ideal for my Ruger. So my Ruger likes something that's a little bit closer to 432 thousandths of an inch. And that's pretty much what we're getting right there. Now, the throat and the chamber are not the exact same. However, what I found is the large throat with a large chamber, smaller throat with a smaller chamber. So in that 2 thousandths is about the difference between the two revolvers. So yeah, if I'm going to load ammo specifically for this Bulldog, I'll probably just use this, the die set, and I'll size my bullets to .430. But I got a different recipe here because the chamber's larger, the throat's larger. So I've got kind of a different die concoction for that. And this is why some folks might want to know the differences in their sizing dies. Because it could be that if you've been using Lee dies with this particular gun, you might find that you'll get better chambering with maybe a die that's just a smidge smaller. Now, these differences aren't advertised. They're probably just common differences among the manufacturer. Don't take my word as gospel. Take my word as understanding, once again, that there are no two dies that are alike. Some of them are just a lot more obvious than others. But thank you, folks. And GH Hunter, thanks for the little chat in the comments, because you know what? You're right. I should have been a little bit more detailed about it. And if it's not for guys like you, then, you know, good content won't happen. So thanks. Leadsmith out.